On this episode of AISD Extra, Celia Lewis will join us. She's the Executive Director of the Angleton ISD Education Foundation. Plus, Superintendent Phil Edwards returns to answer your questions. Here's our host, Hannah Chalmers.
Welcome to another amazing episode of AISD Extra. And for this episode, our first guest is our Angleton ISD Education Foundation Executive Director and Alternative Funding Director for the school district, Celia Lewis. Hi, Celia.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and I work very closely with Celia, so with what we do, we kind of overlap a lot, and I'm excited to bring her on and share all the great things that she's doing. Let's just start off because I don't think, one of the biggest things that you do is the Education Foundation, the AISD Education Foundation. And I honestly don't know if a lot of our community even knows about the foundation or what a foundation is for a school district. Can you explain that?
So that is a great question, and a lot of people ask us that. No, we are not funded by tax dollars, so I'll start out there. I think a lot of people think, why should I give to the Education Foundation if I already pay taxes to the district? Well, let me explain something to you. So your taxes, which we really appreciate in the district, are wonderful, but the foundation is a nonprofit organization.
Yeah, it's its own 501c.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it was created to support and strengthen the work that's happening inside of our schools. What that means is we raise private funds from community partners, businesses, and individuals, and then we get to reinvest those dollars back into our students, into our classrooms, into our district in ways that with normal funds, our district does not get to do. So we get to do all of the creative projects, the extra things.
Innovative kind of things that are out there.
So think of it as a bridge. So we're connecting the community's generosity with the needs and the dreams of the classrooms. And we do that with grants and scholarships now that we'll be adding and several other things. So we're really excited that we get to do this. And I hope that people understand that we are two separate entities, but we are a great partnership and we're a family and we work together to make sure that the Angleton Wildcat family is taken care of in every way possible.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a lot about some of these projects in a little bit because I want to go into detail with some of them because there are some great projects out there the foundation does. You've already kind of talked a little bit about how the foundation helps schools. So do you want to dive in a little bit more on that? What are some other things that y'all kind of do?
So some things that we do is innovative classroom materials, hands-on learning, workforce certifications. We also support students' basic needs, which we'll talk about a program that we have for that as well. Really, we step in anywhere we are able to fill the gaps that are needed in our district. Our goal is to make sure that students have the access to opportunities that are going to elevate their learning and open the doors to their future.
Yeah, and I know you work a lot in hand with the school district on making sure everything's aligned with the school district's goals and objectives and strategic plan. And there are just some great things that the foundation's doing out there. I want to dive in a little bit about you though, because I do feel like you have a really interesting background. And what was your path to become a foundation executive director and specifically for Angleton ISD?
So I'll start with kind of what drives me. So what drives me is just really seeing the impact. When you watch a teacher's idea come to life and seeing students light up when they get a new experience or hearing the stories of how projects change their life, it's really the moments that remind you why your work matters. This is why I love the work that I do. And personally for myself, I am a product of that work. When we moved here, a lot of people don't realize this, but I am Hispanic and I moved here from Mexico. And when we first
moved.
Were
you 15-ish?
Yes.
Yeah,
I was around the beginning of high school. And it was because of those people who gave extra and allowed those extra opportunities to happen for students that allowed for me to be where I am today. So I feel like I am called to be able to give that back now that I am able to help as many students as I can. And I've been very blessed that I've been able to do this for, I think, 12 years now. And because I'm a product of those possibilities, I want to make sure that those possibilities and options are available to any student in the area. really in the world, but for now we're focusing on Angleton. So.
Yeah, and I mean, but that impact though spreads out to the world, because look at what you're doing and how you're impacting the lives of the students here, right? And actually giving back to them in that way. And that's a beautiful story and connection. I love that. So you spoke about making sure taking care of the kids in needs. Let's get into the projects that the foundation has either funded or created that maybe helps meet those needs either academically or in other ways.
So the foundation has funded a wide range of projects, which is really exciting. It's been everything from classroom innovation grants to STEM tools, reading programs, hands-on CTE experiences. We've supported workforce certifications, leadership development, library enhancements, technology, sensory tools. There's so much.
And all grade levels. Like,
yes,
it's not
all
just
grade
it's
levels.
all grade levels
Correct.
across the board.
Yes.
Yeah. And all schools, including alternative schools, have benefited from grants from the foundation.
And we, going back to grants, we have the Grant for Great Ideas that are open year round. We have our other grants that are open in the fall, and we are encouraging and trying in every way to make sure our teachers know that they can apply, because we want to fund those projects. Right. And with the help of our community, we're able to do that. And so some of the initiatives that we've launched just this year is Sparky. If you haven't seen Sparky.
I've seen Sparky. He's an interesting little wildcat that we have. Explain Sparky.
He's a really neat CTE resource. So one of our teachers applied for a grant for Sparky. And so Sparky can really be used for every aspect of CTE. He can be programmed.
It's an animatronic.
It's an animatronic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not a robot. I don't know if I'd call it robot, but animatronic, kind of programmable.
He looks like a little boy.
He's a little person.
With a really cool Wildcat Foundation shirt. He even had a mum at homecoming.
Right.
But what's really neat is that all aspects of CTE get to use him, whether it's dressing him, programming him, doing any kind of coding. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And just within the probably 6 months she's had him, we have seen so many really neat things with Sparky. So if you have not been able to see Sparky, maybe at one of the bistros you'll be able to meet him. Or
he tends to welcome folks into the bistro.
Does, yes, and so that's a really exciting initiative. And then we've also supported another huge project, and this was a really big collaboration and an initial donation with a Wildcat that gave back, Quandre Diggs, which was the Den. And so the Den is a closet that we have in the high school, and it's all new items, and students get to have the opportunity to sign up and shop, and whether it's basic needs or food or even a microwave, we're able to fulfill those needs. And if we don't have them, if we have the funds in the Den account, which you can donate
budget,
to.
At any time you can donate to that, yeah.
We can get those items for any student in need. And one of the great things we've also expanded the Den is for Christmas, we did the Den of Dreams, which allows students to shop and buy for themselves or a family member.
So
and
they have a chance to actually give
so they get to have
somebody.
Christmas. And so we're really excited about all the opportunities that the Den is bringing to our students. And those are just two big things that we are working on right now. But a third huge thing we have is a TDCU partnership. And so if you haven't heard through the grapevine, we will have a student bank-run bank, or student-run bank.
A branch of a bank. And yeah.
In our CTE building. So now you can come have lunch, you can have your dog route, you can go make your deposits and get your hair done as well, or your nails, whatever it is you need. And now our students are even getting an additional resource. When they graduate, they will have a banking certificate, so they can go out and work as a banker and teller at any bank after graduation.
And that's really unique to it, that, in the past we have had something very similar through TDCU, and I love that they're bringing it back. And I think what'll be unique is, I'm not sure if it'll be open right away to the public, because we're going to get our feet underneath us a little bit about it, from what I understand.
Yes.
But I do think it's a wonderful project, because again, you're looking for ways that it benefits the students educationally as well, and they're learning from the actual running of the bank branch. It's not just a branch that's in the building. It's the student-run one, like you said. And I wanted to touch a little bit on the den. And I know a lot about these projects because I'm fortunate enough to be part of the Education Foundation as a board member. But one of the things I really think also too unique about the den is, and unique about what you try to do, Celia, all the time, is look for ways to bring kids into the project. And you brought up that it was Quandre, an alum of us, who kind of really initiated the start of the den, which I think is a pretty unique place. Schools across the board have like closets and things like that, but this one's a little special. But you also had a graphic art student from the high school, CT, design the logo, right?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and I think you look for projects like that all the time because you even have them deal with like some other projects that you ask for. I think we're trying to hit them for a 10-year anniversary logo for the school district.
Yes.
I mean, for the foundation as well, yeah. So again, great projects, great. Sparky's wonderful. There's a lot of other ones. And it's really whatever a teacher or a staff member sees that a need for.
What I try to tell teachers all the time is if you can dream it up and make it happen in your classroom, we will try to figure out a way to make it happen for you financially.
Yeah.
So there's no dream too big. So
ask.
Yeah.
That's what people are afraid sometimes to do is the ask on it. You know, like, I don't know if it's worth it. It's worth it. Just try.
It's definitely worth it. We do have some parameters we have to stick within, but for the most part, that's something we can talk through prior to application time. And, at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we as a district continue to bring innovation in any way we can. And so that comes from the teachers getting creative and bringing that to us.
And a lot of times what comes from that is when we see a grant that's been funded that's so successful, you'll see the district actually go, hey, like this is something we might want to start doing district-wide. And that's, again, that partnership that works so well. Let's talk about, I know how to get involved because I've been involved. But how can people be involved in the foundation? What are the different avenues for that?
So we have so many ways to be involved, and we would love to have you as part of the foundation family. If you haven't checked out our website, it's www.angletonISDfoundation.net, and all this information's on there as well. And we please, share it with whoever you want. But we have so many options. You can volunteer if you just want to volunteer one time at an event. We would love to have you as a volunteer. You can attend our events. So right now we have 2 events coming up. Top Cat Breakfast will be in May, and then our Nash Fest, which I won't give too much out just yet.
No, but it launch that.
That's coming soon. It will be in September, and we would love to have you. But you can attend the event. You can sponsor.
Okay, so either of those events, like Top Cat, explain a little bit for those people who don't know what Top Cat is.
So Top Cat is where we honor our top 10 graduates, and they get to present an award to a teacher that's inspired them throughout their entire educational career.
Could be elementary, could be middle school, could be.
Yes, it's also a place where we get to showcase our donors who have given to us throughout the year, our legacy donors, and then we also get to show a little bit of the grants that in action, and so that's pretty exciting because a lot of times people aren't able to really see them in action, so that's an opportunity there to be able to see them in action.
So you could go to the event, you could sponsor the event.
Yeah, go and sponsor. You can donate to any of our programs, so you can donate directly to the Den of Dreams, Hoops for Hundreds, which is a new private.
Yeah, but speak about Hoops for Hundreds because you haven't talked about that.
So Hoops for Hundreds is a new scholarship opportunity that we're offering our seniors. So it does not require a GPA. It does not require an essay. This first set is being funded by the Rotary in Angleton, which we're really excited. Another partner, yes. And so students, it's basically you fill out a form, you get put in a random generator. If you are picked the week before the basketball game, we will come and surprise you. And you will have the opportunity to shoot a free throw 3 times, so 2 from the line and then further up. If you are able to hit it from the free throw line, you get a $1,000 scholarship that will be paid directly to your college or trade school.
That institution
of choice. And it doesn't have to be a 4-year college. It can be a trade school or a community college. And if you don't, if you just completely miss, you still get $500. So
you're not walking
so you're
away.
A winner. You're a winner regardless. And so
Yeah.
we're really excited about this. And so that's the way we can get involved. We'd love to have more partners with that. Maybe expand it to Cake for Cash and doing that in football, maybe, in different events. So if you would like to be a partner in that, let us know.
And again, it's not an athlete in that event. It's
correct.
any
It's just
senior.
any senior,
Yeah.
yes, correct. So we're excited. And then hopefully that also brings more light into those sports. So maybe that brings more people coming to the basketball games or coming to the football games. So another way to partner with the district as well and also help our students. You can serve as a committee. So maybe you're not ready to commit to be a board member, but you are ready to be a part of a committee. Mm-hmm. So we have several committees. If you like to do events, we have an events committee. If you like marketing, we have a marketing.
That might be the best one. I don't know why.
The marketing,
because,
yes.
I don't know.
That might be your favorite
one. It might
one.
be my favorite one because
Yes.
I'm VP of marketing
Yes.
for the foundation.
But we definitely have a lot of opportunities if you want to be a part of the grant committee and look at, scoring those grants and seeing what the teachers are bringing. We have several committees and we would love to have you. And if you just want to come to a meeting and see what we're about, reach out. Our meetings are open. Welcome to anybody. And then when you're ready to commit, we would love to have you on the board. And our board is a really beautiful family is the way I like to look at it. Everyone's just so kind and generous and giving.
Too. Yeah, very passionate about this. Yeah.
So it's been really great. This week's been a year since I've been here, and I will say
happy anniversary.
Thank you. I definitely feel like I'm a big part of the Wildcat family, and I love being here. And it definitely shows with the passion of our board and all of our volunteers, and even the district. The partnership is so incredible. I don't know that I've ever really been a part of something so unique as it is to be here as a Wildcat. So I'm really excited to be here. But yeah, and if you can't do any of that, just spread the word. Share our Facebook post. Text your friend. Like, when we have wish lists and things like that, that helps us just like that.
Yeah, and I want to point out that it is a great organization to be a part of, and even it helps you get more insight into the school district itself because like you said, if you serve or even know a little bit about what's being done through the special programs, the grants and stuff like that, you get to see like the work behind the scenes on education a little bit and understand where it's coming from and why it's being done a certain way. I think it's an interesting way to do that.
I think it's important too because a lot of people don't realize that the board makes the decisions for the foundation. Mm-hmm. So it's not the district, it's not
the school
myself.
Board, the foundation
board.
Yeah.
Correct. So it's not me, it's not, the school, it's our foundation board that collaborates and makes the decisions of the route that we go. So if you feel like we need to be growing a certain way or doing certain things, come talk to us because there might be things we're missing. We are growing, the district is growing very rapidly. And so the more volunteers, the more board members, the more help we can get, the better it will be for us. Because I think right now the struggle is the manpower for the growth.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. And I think it's important to note, you kind of touched on it, like it is a community-driven board because while yes, I'm an employee that serves on it, there are no other employees, I think, who are actually on the board itself in terms of a board member of sorts.
I don't think so. And we do welcome them to be a part of any committee they want to be a part of, except for the grant committee.
The grant one, conflict of interest for that. Yes,
correct.
Of course.
Yeah, so we do have a little bit of stipulations if you are an employee, but for the most part, we can find a place for you, and we would love to have you.
And don't want to limit that, but I think it's important to note. The reason I brought that up is because it's truly community people who are passionate and trying to give back to the school district, and they're doing it through the foundation as a way to help them do that.
Yeah, and I do want to say, if for some reason you do reach out and we don't get back right away, like keep calling us because, like I said, the manpower for the amount of growth is we're working through all that, but I think we have a lot of great things in place moving forward, and we definitely don't want you to think we don't want you if you didn't get a response. And also, the filters on our email are pretty strong, so sometimes we just didn't get your email. So feel free to call. And my cell phone's out there for everybody.
It's on the website, which give that website address again so people can get it.
So it's www.angletonISDfoundation.net.
Okay. So we want to make sure people can find it. You can, like I said, so you already talked about it, you can serve on a committee, you could just come to a meeting, you could sponsor an event like Top Cat or Nash Fest, which we really just hinted about Nash Fest, but it is a fun event if you ever want to come see like the foundation in action and what we're doing, because we try to bring kids in with that as well. And that's a great fundraising event for the foundation. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else out there on the horizon? I love the idea of the Hoops for Dreams, which is coming, and how that could possibly grow. Anything else out there?
Well, I mean, really the possibilities are endless, and we're hopeful that this year we can maybe break some records in what we fundraise, so that, and bring new partnerships in, that we can open up doors to new opportunities for our students. So really, we're limitless.
Yeah, because your goals, we've talked about this before,
Yes.
she and I, your fundraising goals are literally whatever we can bring in,
Yes.
because it's the more the better.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So, yeah.
So we do set financial goals as a nonprofit, but our goal is always to break those.
Every single year.
Yeah.
And you're doing a good job, because I feel like we did that last year.
We
so.
did.
Yeah. Well, Celia, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having
it's always
me.
it's always great to learn more about these groups that can help partner with the district. And yes, I have an inside knowledge of it, but I don't know, we started the whole thing off with, I don't know if everybody really knows that there is a foundation, and really and truly what a foundation is. So thank you for sharing all
I
that.
appreciate you having me and giving me the opportunity to share this information, because I think the more we can get it out there, the better that we're represented, and the more volunteers and help and
Support.
and programs
Yeah.
we can get. Yeah.
Well, thank you again.
Thanks.
And we look forward to all the great things you're going to do. Thanks, Celia.
Thanks.
We are back with our superintendent, Mr. Edwards. Hi, Mr. Edwards.
Hello, Hannah. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for joining us for this episode.
No problem. I know we're getting close to the Christmas break, and so students are winding up for that, and so we're excited to get there and take a little 2-week break, and then come back and start a great spring semester here in Angleton.
I know we had a very eventful first semester this year, and
Yes, we did.
I'm sure everybody's looking forward to a little bit of a break and then recharge for the second semester. But this segment is always about kind of reaching out to our community and letting them ask some questions and getting some direct answers maybe back from you about some of that.
Absolutely.
So first one that we got in that I want to touch on is there's been talk before about art at the elementary levels, art classes. When will Angleton ISD have an arts class as part of the specials rotation in the elementary setting?
It's a great question, and I tell you, it's something we've been looking at, I think, probably over the last 5 or 6 years. First of all, I think we have to understand what the state law requires us to do. And state law requires that fine arts be given at the elementary level. We do that right now through our music classes, and they're very successful. Kids really get enriched in those classes, and so I don't ever see those music classes going away. They do get art instruction, but it comes from their regular classroom, and that's how we achieve that. We're not required to provide it there, but we do provide art education.
You see it with the fair art and
right,
things like
or
that,
as part of the
projects.
general
Yeah.
education class
Yeah.
that they're in. I think, I tell you personally, I would love to be able to add art in as a specials, but and just being frank, when I talk about the issue is that takes funding, because you then have to go out and hire 7+ art teachers to teach at the elementary level, and that requires quite a bit of money and capital. And to be real honest with you, with where we're at with funding in the district right now, and that's just not Angleton, it's every school district in the state.
Right.
Adding another 7 to 8 salaries, we just don't have the budget to do those kinds of things. We've been studying this for probably 5 or 6 years. We'd love to make it happen, but when you need reading specialists, when you need math specialists, when you need classroom teachers so that classrooms aren't sitting at 25 students in kindergarten, to meet those kinds of requirements, that's where we end up putting our money into providing those teachers and those personnel. It just hadn't allowed us to get to art. And so, again, we always look at it every year. If we ever feel like we can get to that point, we'll absolutely, we put it into the curriculum and make it a class. But we do provide art education, but funding's just not there right now that allows us to do those things.
Yeah. Funding does affect a lot of our decision making. We always make the decisions in the
Right.
best interest of the kids as much as possible. I mean, every decision's with the kids in mind. Moving on, we had another question come up about graduation and allowing parents on the field to take pictures with the graduating seniors. Is that something that you can speak about?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we look at all those systems. We look at that type of procedure every year. I can promise you when we come back from the Christmas break, we'll start talking about what graduation is going to look like, what we're going to be able to do there, and this will be a topic of conversation. We will make sure we study it and look at it. I think one of the things that gets lost in all of this is it is a very difficult safety situation, and trying to keep, I mean, we're going to have over 550 kids graduate, trying to keep all the people who are on the field and keep everybody safe, and we're an area that, in a way that we can control it with school personnel and law enforcement, is something we will really take a look at. I know that was a big factor when we did this last year, not allowing people onto the field, was because there were some very large safety concerns, several that weren't made public. That we really had to pay attention to. And so we'll do the same thing this year, but we will go back and talk about it and see, hey, is this something we can do? I understand it's what the community wants, and we'll take a look at all the angles of it, and we feel like it's something that we can make happen, we'll make it happen. If we still feel like it's not in our best interest for the students who are out there on the field, in terms of safety and other issues that we may look at as well, then we'll make that decision. We may make the decision to not allow it again. I can tell you ultimately that decision of whether to do it or not do it doesn't lie with anybody but me. And so I will get all the information, and the person who will make the final decision will be I.
Yeah, it's a a very large scale event,
Right.
and with it, I mean, easily over about 5,000 plus people at the event.
I mean, yeah,
not counting the students on the field.
Well, I
and
mean,
everything.
we estimated somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 people. And you think
even
about
larger,
you think about football games. We've had to increase security at our football games with the open gate things, and what do we do there? It's just kind of the world we live in, and we want to make sure everybody's safe and has an enjoyable experience. And so those are things we look at, and that's really what the driver is of making that type of decision.
Okay, shifting gears a little bit. We did have a couple questions, and I'm just going to combine them because they are literally really asking about the same thing, about the bell schedule. Would there be any considerations, or do we ever consider going back to the old bell schedule, meaning the start for elementary and secondaries?
Every time we start talking about bell schedules, school start times, how many classes in a year, we look at that, revisit that every year to see, is there things there we can improve? Is there ways to do it different? Is this really working or not working? I know one of the things we've seen this year happen is we've had 2 new schools come on board, and they are actually, as you know, outside the city limits. And so how do you run buses? How do you run transportation? How do you keep kids at Heritage Junior High and Heartland Elementary separated for safety? And then how do you keep parents who are picking kids up, and we're loading lots of cars into those maybe at the same times? We have to look at that system as well and see if changing times makes sense. Again, we will do that. We will take a look if there's ways we can change things to make it better. That's absolutely what we will do. I know one of the things that we did last year is we gave a very extensive report to our school board in June, and we'll do the same thing again this year, that took a look at what did students' academic progress look like last year? What did their attendance look like?
Did the bell schedule affect that?
Did the bell schedule affect? What did discipline look like? And basically what we saw is actually at the secondary level, slight improvements in academic performance, in attendance, and in discipline. And so we'll look at all those same things again. I think it's very safe to say that the change in start times didn't affect any of those things that are really the things we pay, what our goals talk about, and what are the major things that we want to make sure we're doing correctly. And so, because if start time was affecting those things, then we would have to look at what do we need to do to fix that.
Right.
Again, we will go back and look at everything again. We understand the problems it causes, but as the district gets larger, schools get more spread out from each other in terms of where they get built. Then the time in between you have schools to get kids into the schools, get schools out safely, not create huge congested areas for parents to pick up and drop off. Those are all things we take a look at. And I can guarantee you we will look at that every year. We're constantly looking. It's just like we don't make a decision and okay, that's what it is, forget about that. We'll look at it.
You evaluate it.
We evaluate it this year, we'll
Yeah.
evaluate it the next year, we'll evaluate it the year after that, and we'll make adjustments as we go through.
And like you said, it's evaluated based on not just personnel, it's evaluated based on, is it affecting student achievement?
Right.
And that's what you hit on, that you did have a study done on that. And,
Right.
and look at that. You know, I feel, you know, we're growing, and so that affects a lot as well.
Right. I think one of the things that the district has to look at is, and we're not going to do this now, and we don't see this anytime in the next near future.
Right.
But we also have to look at considerations about possibly moving to 3 start times. As the district gets bigger,
Okay.
you start to build more schools in. We know there's huge housing developments going out, and you can drive around now and see those, both within the city of Angleton and outside the city of Angleton. There's going to be a lot more students come into our school districts, and we'll eventually have to take a look at, hey, do you go to a start time for high school? Do you go to a start time for elementary schools? And do you go to start time for junior highs? I know several.
Again, not happening anytime soon.
No,
folks,
not
so
won't
just
happen next year or even
making
the
sure
year
we know
after or
that.
anything like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's in the back of our mind is once if the school district starts to grow to somewhere between 10, 12, 14,000 students, that's something we'll have to take a look at. I think one of the other things that's really important to understand about Angleton is the number of our students who ride buses is very high. It's well over 50%. Most of the other school district areas, that number looks somewhere between 20% to 30%. So we have a lot larger ridership than a lot of our bigger districts that surround us. And so we have to understand that as so many of our kids ride the buses is how do we run our buses effectively? How do we make sure kids are getting to school on time, get picked up on time, get home at a decent time? And so all of that kind of plays into that
And that's
as well.
based on not just number of bus drivers, it's number of buses, it's all of that factoring
All that
in.
plays a factor in.
Yeah.
And so, yes, there is an economic viability to, if you split times, then you don't have to have as many buses and as many bus drivers. And listen, if anybody's listening to this and wants to come be a bus driver for
Please,
Angleton ISD,
yes.
we would love to be able to talk to you about that. We're having meetings constantly about the lack of drivers we have to fill the routes that we do have now. And
I know it's hard for Mr. Harmon, our transportation director. I know he's talked to me about how do we get that message out there. So
Right.
yes, if you'd like to be a bus driver in Angleton ISD, contact our school district.
yeah, so I think one of the things is when you talk about school start times, I think sometimes people can look at it just in a kind of siloed about this is how it affects me and this is how it affects my kid who's in this grade level. And all of those are very valid concerns.
Sure.
We don't mean to
Yes,
dismiss
of
those.
course.
But when we look at things, we have to look at all of these factors, all the different effects on it. How does it affect bus drivers? How does it affect school staff? How does it affect students? How does it affect parents? How does it affect the community? How does it affect traffic? All of those things we really have to pay attention and look at. And we gather all that information and make the best decision we can with the information we have. And we'll continue to do that as we move forward.
Yeah. And like you said, it's again kind of like the graduation thing. It's not ever a decision's been made and then we don't always examine.
Absolutely.
You know.
I mean, we're always looking for continuous improvement. How do we adapt to do things better? And we'll continue to do those things.
Well, that was all the questions, Mr. Edwards, that we had come in from the community this time, and I'm so grateful for our community for listening and asking us questions. I always appreciate that. It gives you a chance to speak about it.
I very much so. And they're great questions,
Yeah.
very good questions. I know these are things that are really on the forefront of members of our community's minds, and so I appreciate the opportunity to get to speak to those things and maybe clear up some of the things and let people know that, yes, we're aware of these things and we are working to make the systems operate as efficiently and as well as possible.
Well, with that, we're going to close out the episode, and I want to thank you again, Mr. Edwards, for being here, as well as our guest from the Education Foundation, our executive director from the foundation, Celia Lewis. I want to thank our producer, Alex Radow, for always doing an amazing job. Thank Mr. Scott Faradosi for the music that he provided. And then, as always, stay excellent, Wildcats.